Chapter 232, Many Traps. In the office building of the Mystery Branch, in the Vice Principal's office, Wen Xiao sat in front of Zheng Shahong, feeling a little nervous. Zheng Shahong was not only his superior, but also his mentor. The fact that Wen Xiao could achieve such results at such a young age was inseparable from Zheng Shahong's hard work over the years. Although Wen Xiao looked very amiable, his reputation in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College was not just for show. He was once the youngest genetic evolver and professor in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. However, it had been overshadowed by the sudden rise of Zhao in the past few years, so it did not attract much attention. As for Zheng Shahong, in the entire mystery branch of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College, he was the only one below the principal, Wen Xinglin, the heads of the mystery branch Mai Shen and Wei Dejiang. In the supernatural branch of the mystery branch, Zheng Shahong could be considered a formidable figure. He was currently the vice dean of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College's mystery branch, the dean of the supernatural branch, and the director of the 18th Supernatural Institute of the Genetic Research Institute. Among all the positions, the most important one was the dean of the supernatural branch. Those who could hold the position of the dean of the supernatural branch of the mystery branch in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College was a true powerhouse. All of them were all genetic mutants. Wen Xinglin, the current principal of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College, had been promoted from the position of the dean of the supernatural branch of the mystery branch. In the 100 years since the Great Genetic Age, the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College had been through 7 principals. 4 of them had been the deans of the supernatural branch. It was not without reason that the dean of the supernatural branch of the mystery branch was secretly called the Vaunt Courier of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. The director of the 18th Supernatural Institute of the Genetic Research Institute was one of the largest research institutes under the jurisdiction of the Genetic Research Institute. On the other hand, the position of the vice president of the mystery branch was not eye-catching to Zheng Shahong. Sir, Zhu Tui is a little arrogant. He is also a little petty. He also has a certain amount of tricks up his sleeve. He is also very mature. Perhaps he was dissatisfied with this warning. As soon as he attacked this afternoon, he temporarily crippled 4 of our top 100 students. Zhu Tui's actions in the practical application class this afternoon had not only touched Wen Xiao's sore spot, but also touched the vital points of the supernatural branch. Wen Xiao felt that he had to report this matter to his teacher. After all, this year's teaching assessment was extremely important. 4 are temporarily crippled? Zheng Shahong pondered for a moment. How many students do you have who can make it into the top 100 of the Longhu list? The only one who can make it into the top 10 is probably Che Zan. There should be 15 others who can definitely make it into the top 100. There are also about 10 others. It all depends on how they react on the spot. There are probably only 20 people who can make it into the top 100 of the Longhu list, Wen Xiao said. This was also the problem with the supernatural branch of the mystery branch. Actually, the strength of the students from the 4 faculties of the mystery branch was in a slow motion state. Despite that, the supernatural branch was faster than the other 3 faculties. But on the whole, the Longhu list was usually dominated by the extreme branch. It was already good enough that the mystery branch could occupy 1/5 of the rankings. Things would change during the second year. The students of the mystery branch began to exert their strength. In the 3rd year, more than half of the students from the mystery branch would be in the top 100. Is it enough to get first place in the assessment? Zheng Shahong asked. Enough, sir. According to our current estimates, our supernatural branch should be able to get more than 700 points. It far exceeds the School of Enlightened Mind. Even if a small number of accidents happen, it's enough to get first place in the mystery branch's assessment, Wen Xiao said. Then what are you worried about? I'm not worried about the first place in the assessment. What I'm worried about is the extraterrestrial spot. After all, there are only 5 seeded candidates that we have internally determined to compete for the extraterrestrial spot. This afternoon, Zhu Tui had temporarily crippled 2 of them, including Shang Chun. Zhu Tui's actions were always unexpected. He also had Zhao as his backer. I was afraid that something would go wrong. What I'm thinking is, why don't we slow down a little for the Academy's honors that are awarded to the students? Wen Xiao said, you mean, delay the report? Not only should we temporarily suspend it, but the candidates for the honor award should also be temporarily emptied. The previous awards were allocated to a few seeded contestants to give them a comprehensive score. We'll see how it goes. We'll see who gets the best ranking on the Longhu list out of the remaining 3 seeded candidates. We'll add most of the merit points to that student. We can guarantee that he would be able to obtain the first place in the individual overall evaluation and fight for that extraterrestrial spot. This way, our supernatural branch will be able to reach an extraterrestrial spot, Wen Xiao said. Hearing this, Zheng Shahong nodded. This method is feasible. I can hold on to the reward documents here for a day or 2 without any problems. However, this way, your student Shang Chun would suffer a huge loss. The extraterrestrial spot was originally given to him, Zheng Shahong said. We might have a chance next year. Wen Xiao's expression was a little ugly. According to the rules, with your level, you can only accept 1 special student every 3 years. Moreover, it's not easy to choose a suitable special student. In the next 3 years, this special student would be your pride. It was just like how you and I worked back then. Everyone says that I, Zheng Shahong, have made you, Wen Xiao. But on the other hand, didn't you, Wen Xiao, make me Zheng Shahong? Wen Xiao hurriedly stood up in fear. Sir, you're being too serious. How can I be worthy of this? Have a seat. Zheng Shahong waved his hand. Why are you being so reserved? Even if I can't say that you, Wen Xiao, have made me, Zheng Shahong, Wen Xiao, you were indeed my strongest support during those years. Whoever is not convinced, will drag the students out and pinch them. As he spoke, Zheng Shahong seemed to have thought of something interesting and started laughing. Therefore, your student Shang Chun can't fall behind in the matter of the extraterrestrial. Otherwise, how can you inherit my position? Zheng Shahong patted the chair beneath him meaningfully. Let me arrange it. It's just a small price to pay. There are many other types of spots in our school. I'll have to trouble you again. Wen Xiao quickly thanked him. Zheng Shahong waved his hand indifferently. You and I are teacher and student. Why do you keep talking nonsense? Don't worry about that. In the next 3 days, you just have to do a good job in the teaching assessment. You know, this year is crucial to me. Dean Mai had been away for 2 years. If nothing went wrong, he would be back by the end of the year or next year. Once he returned, his strength would definitely increase and he would be promoted. He already had the positions of vice principal and the school board. When the time came, he would definitely have one more position. Be it being a member of the Wuxia Genetic Committee or the vice chairman of the Genetic Research Institute. However, if he had one more title, it meant that his position of the Dean of the Mystery Branch would be removed. Then when the time comes, the position of Dean will belong to you, sir. Wen Xiao smiled. Zheng Shahong waved his hand again. We can't be that optimistic. However, in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College, the supernatural branch is the mystery branch. Ever since I took over the supernatural branch 4 years ago, our supernatural branch has always been first in the teaching assessment. It was already the 5th year of this year. If our supernatural branch continued to be first for the 5th consecutive year, then according to the school's rules, I would definitely be able to take the special exams. At that time, even if Wen Xinglan wanted Wei Dejiang to ascend the throne and suppress me, he would not be able to suppress me. So, you understand? Ash spoke. Zheng Shahong straightened his body slightly, and his expression became a little serious. Don't worry, sir. After the Year 1 Longhu list is released tomorrow, I'll personally go down and be the instructor for the students of the supernatural branch. I will definitely get first place in this year's teaching assessment, Wen Xiao promised. All right, why don't you come to my house for dinner tonight? You're alone anyway. I'll get my wife to cook your favorite fried fish. Zhu Tui felt an inexplicable sense of satisfaction after leaving the combat arena. As long as Wen Xiao did not secretly dig a hole for Zhu Tui would not find trouble with him. Moreover, this was not the first time that he had used the rules to dig a hole for him. Did they really think that Zhu Tui was made of clay? Most importantly, Wen Xiao's actions were indeed stealing food from Zhu Tui. He had just received a call from the logistics center. He had received a warning and punishment. Therefore, according to the rules, the current personal rating would drop by 1 level, from high-grade level C to mid-grade level C. Starting from next month, the level of treatment Zhu Tui received from the school would be reduced by 1 level for 3 months. The most obvious change was that 5 bottles of Level E Energy Restoration Elixir would become 4 bottles every month, and this was only one of the items. Even after the individual level evaluation was re-evaluated and updated, the individual level evaluation would still drop by 1 level within 3 months. Just as Zhu Tui had said, he was very generous when he was generous. He was also very stingy when it came to it. An eye for an eye. If Wen Xiao dug a hole for me, then I, Zhu Tui, would have to dig at least 2 holes, right? The more the merrier. This was only the first wave in today's combat class. The opening battle of the Longhu list tomorrow was the highlight. At 6:30, Zhu Tui continued to deliver food to Anzhaok Soxui at Research Institute number 14. There were lotus root slices and mushroom white jade soup, and Zhaok Soxui ate less for dinner. Did Wen Xiao give you a warning? During the meal, Anzhaok Soxui suddenly asked, yes. Then, you crippled 4 students from the supernatural branch today, which include Wen Xiao's special student. Anzhaok Soxui asked again. Zhu Tui nodded again. Are you planning to take revenge on Wen Xiao? I guess so. He tricked me continuously. I have to trick him a few times, Zhu Tui said. Anzhaok Soxui picked up a piece of lotus root and chewed it a few times before speaking slowly. We don't have many genetic miracles, so everyone has to be independent. If you want to do it, do it. But you have to think twice before you act. Anzhaok Soxui said, I understand, Missin. After a pause, Anzhaok Soxui added, remember, all your current actions must be within the rules. Zhu Tui nodded. At the same time, he suddenly thought of something. Missin, what if we do something outside the rules? And Zhao Xu's expression suddenly became serious. She put down her chopsticks and looked at Zhu Tui. If you do anything outside the rules, contact me immediately. Zhu Tui was a little stunned by her sternness.